What you're going to see is a 1 minute and 15-second snippet from an interview of Joe Biden going on the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God. During the process of the interview, he makes the statement, if you can't make up your mind whether you want to vote for him or Donald Trump, you're not black. Check this out. We'll talk about it on the other side.
By some of the leading Black women voices in this country. And they feel since Black women are such a loyal voting bloc and Black people saved your political life in the primaries this year, they have things they want from you. And one of them is a Black woman running mate. What do you say to them?
What I say to them is that I'm not acknowledging anybody who is being considered, but I guarantee you there are multiple Black women being considered. Multiple.
You know,
Thanks so much. That's really our time. I apologize.
You can't do that to Black media.
I can't do that to white media and Black media because my wife has to go on at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't Black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years. I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run. Come on. Take a look at the record.
Wow, that was something, right? If you can't make up your mind between him and Trump, you're not Black. Great kings, virtuous queens. We know it's deeper than that, right? As if LA Blacks are the same as Philly Blacks. As if Philly Blacks are the same as Atlanta Blacks. Atlanta Blacks and Los Angeles Blacks are totally different. Blacks in Omaha are different from Blacks in Chicago. Blacks in Chicago are different from Blacks in Alabama. All Black people aren't the same. But just to say, hey, I'm entitled to your vote, get in the tent. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, are we all just the same person? Can the Democratic Party just assume they've gotten our vote just because we're Black, we're Democrats, get in the tent? That's totally wrong. But there are bigger things that he missed in this interview. And these are the things I want to share with you. And this is why I started that video at the point in which I started it. Because a lot of people are showing that video, but they're showing just the clip where he says, if you can't make up your mind between me and Trump, you're not Black. But they went over a whole lot of things that are terribly, terribly important. The first thing they missed was prominent Black women. Black women are such a loyal voting bloc. They want you to have a Black female VP. He went right past that and said something silly when Charlemagne the God reminded him that Black people saved your political career. Bernie Sanders was about to destroy you. Black people saved you. You weren't even supposed to be the nominee. Everybody knew it was Bernie Sanders, but Black people rallied for you and saved your political career. And they want you to have a Black female running mate. And he says, and I quote, "I'm not acknowledging anyone who's being considered." But I guarantee you there's a lot of Black women being considered. I'm not acknowledging anybody, but we're still considering. Really? That's what we going with? And it's so crazy because it was double speak. And it was such double speak that the man behind the camera, whoever the director was, expected Charlemagne to jump him on that and said, "Oh, we're out of time. We got to go." Because it is doublespeak. Yeah, we know that you guys want a black female. We know that the black women are the most powerful voting bloc in America. We want to show them how loyal we are to them, but we're not acknowledging anybody right now, but we're still looking. And instead of getting pounced, the guy says, "Hey, time to go." And Charlemagne says, you can't do that to black media. Rather than acknowledge the fact that he mentioned black media specifically, he brushed it under the rug and said, black media, white media, whatever. That's not the point. You're specifically on black media because you can go on MSNBC anytime. You can go on CNN anytime. You can even go on Fox News, ABC, NBC, CBS. You specifically went on The Breakfast Club. Why? Because they have a black audience. And then when he says, you can't do black media like that, he goes, black media, white media. As if he did Charlemagne a favor by coming on the show, rather than Charlemagne doing him a favor and exposing him to the audience that he needs to become president. All of this doesn't make any sense. And then he says, my wife's got to go on at 6 o'clock. Don't your wife know you running for president? I mean, like, your wife don't know you running for president? Like, whatever she's doing can wait. You're running for president of the United States. This is silly. But that's not what really offended Joe Biden. What offended Joe Biden is when Charlemagne said, it's a long way to November and we still have questions. That's the problem, you see. That's the problem. We almost skated on the fact, you almost fell down on the fact that you're about to try to vet Amy Klobuchar for vice president. You promised during the debate with Bernie Sanders that your VP would be a woman, a black woman. But now you're doing something else. And so the man tries to bond you out, bail you out and go, oh, we're out of time. And Charlemagne says, you need to come back, Mr. Vice President, because we still have questions. And that's where the problem comes in. How dare you still have questions? I'm the Democratic nominee. Get in the tent like you're supposed to. Because if you don't get in the tent, you're not black. Notice how Joe Biden is trying to change the narrative. That's not even what Charlemagne was talking about. Charlemagne is saying, we have questions because we want to see what you're going to do for the black community. That's what he's interested in. And Joe Biden says, if you can't make up your mind between me and Trump, you're not black. And to Charlemagne's credit, I love the brother's response. This is not about Donald Trump. Quit running that Donald Trump thing as an answer or an excuse. That's not the answer to the question. The answer to the question is, what are you going to do for our communities? I want something for my community. That's what Charlemagne said. I want something for my community. Sounds like a great t-shirt. Because all of the double talk, all of the, we're going to get you a black woman. We're considering some people, but we're not acknowledging anybody we're considering right now. And if you're not voting for me, you're just not black enough, or you're just not black. Hey, here's what the Democrats do. Get in the tent. All of this stuff just tells you that we're not being taken serious. He says, hey, you can't do black media like that. Why? Because when you went on MSNBC to talk about Tara Reid, you are on 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But when you come on black media, it's like, oh, here I am, black people. I showed up. I don't have to promise anything. I don't have to do anything for you. I just have to show up. And for that, we show up and vote and give you the power you want. No, sorry, doesn't work that way. I like the interview that Charlemagne did, and I like the way Charlemagne stayed on his guns, because we have to let people know, especially our virtuous queens, they are the most powerful voting bloc in America. And if they don't use their power to get the things they want, they will be totally ignored. I don't think we should be running behind any party on general principle. Oh, here we are automatically before you ever give us anything. Tell us what you're going to give us and then let us decide whether we want to vote for you or not. Don't just count us in the tent, because if you want to get something from power, you get it by being outside of the tent. Once you're in the tent, you generally get nothing. I like this interview. I think Charlemagne did a great job on this interview. I loved all the questions he asked, especially on behalf of a black VP pick. Like I said, the man knew he was about to get burnt on that because it was double talk. He pulled him out of it. I like the way Charlemagne stood up for black media. I like the way Charlemagne let him know that he needs to come back. It's a long time between here and November, and you need to talk to the people. We still have questions. So good on you, Charlemagne. Hey, man, it's all good. Great kings, virtuous queens. We love you, man. We will see you soon. This is Lazarus Erect.